to summarize our pay philosophy, we want to make sure that shoppers feel like they're being treated fairly, that they're being competitively paid versus their other options, and also that they can rely on Instacart, for consistent earnings. And we want to do that so that shoppers stay on the platform, and also so that they tell their friends and family that being an Instacart shopper is a good investment another time. So that's how we think about shopper pay philosophy.
So Ravi, taking that, how does the service fee for customers play into that?
Yeah. So I think the place that the service fee, so let me just start from the very beginning. The reason we put in the service fee was because we thought it was a better and overall more fair experience for shoppers and for customers. So why did we think that? Where were we falling short on that philosophy beforehand? I talked about paying fairly, competitively, and consistently. The big thing that we were falling short on before the service fee, was consistency. And I want to be really clear about it. The fact that we were inconsistent was largely driven by the fact that sometimes people would get great tips and sometimes people would get really, no tip at all. And so it was a very inconsistent experience for shoppers. Now, that doesn't mean that it was always bad, right? Some shoppers were, and some shifts were really happy because they were getting really big tips, and we get that. But there was a lot of times where people weren't getting any tips at all and therefore weren't being treated fairly, we thought, for the work that was being done. So the service fee implementation was really about trying to get rid of a lot of that variability that happened from moment to moment, for the shoppers. And I think that, I do feel like it's gotten more consistent when I look at the data and when our teams look at the data. But I do think, Heather, on that one, I think we could have done a better job in communicating that and rolling it out and understanding and hearing shoppers' concerns about it, and also talking to shoppers about what we were trying to accomplish. I think we did it after the fact rather than before we did it. And I think that, that's something for us. Process improvement is a really big part of who we are and constantly learning. And I think that I'm happy that we implemented the service fee, but I think we could have rolled it out better, and we'll learn for the next time.
Great. And some of the shoppers asked about the service fee and where that money goes. Can you share a little bit more on that piece of it?
Yeah. So please, Heather, keep me honest, make sure I'm answering, what's actually on people's minds. But, we pay much more to shoppers than we collect in the form of the service fee. So everything that comes into the service fee and more is paid out to our shoppers. Every single dollar, plus more. And I think that the service fee is what allows us to pay the commissions that we pay. And we put in extra dollars because shoppers earn it. And so all of that money goes to shoppers plus more.
Ravi, can you maybe explain, or Apoorva, explain a little bit about the customer side of it? What is the customer experience and what are they seeing? And I guess how does the tips portion play into that? That's a question we get a lot from shoppers as well.
Yeah, maybe what I'll start with is what is our tipping philosophy, right? Where do we stand on our tips? And it's very simple. We believe that customers should be able to tip our shoppers, right? When shoppers go out of their way to provide an amazing experience, right? Customers should be able to reward the shoppers for that service. So that's number one. And also, it needs to be easy, right? It needs to be easy to be able to do that because, we don't want our customers to have to find cash when they don't necessarily have cash on hand when the shopper's at their door. So it needs to be easy and it needs to be within the app to be able to tip, right? So that's what we believe, right? But we also believe that tipping should happen after the service is delivered, right? The customer should be able to see what the shopper has delivered to be able to tip. And so all the stuff that we do, all the product, all the features that we build are in line with those philosophies, right? So one of the things that recently our customer product team built was a new way for customers to tip for our shoppers, right? And the way they did this was they showed the shopper photo to the customer, and in addition to that, they showed percentages of the total order to be able to tip, right? And what we saw as a result of this was that more customers tipped shoppers, right? And there was more tipping that was collected as a result of this, right? So this was something that our consumer product team did that was totally in line with our philosophy, right? And so this is what we believe, and I think that this is where we're going to be seeing that more and more features are going to be built in line with this.
So some of the shoppers I've talked to and some of the questions that were submitted was around the flow itself, and the fact that sometimes it's confusing for our customers. So the question I guess that I would ask is, do we expect the current flow to stay the current flow, or what do we expect that to be over time?
Yeah, I think that the philosophies that Apoorva mentioned about what we believe about tipping, that it should be clearly customers need to be able to do that, that it should be easy, and that it should be done after the service, that I think is going to be consistent. I think the shopper pay philosophy of we care about treating people fairly, paying competitively, and being consistent, those things are going to stay the same. I think the actual manifestation of that, or the way the actual site or the app looks, we're going to constantly be able to evolve that and try to make it better. And we're going to test things like what Apoorva mentioned about showing the photos. We would love for customers to deliver, for shoppers to deliver amazing service and to be getting, great tips. That would be awesome. And we want to use the app and use the website to enable that. So I think we're constantly going to try to make that better. But I think the philosophy, Heather, I think, we believe pretty strongly in.
Great. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about our happiness support team. So